we are back, and we are here with Kenny, who is at the front lines of comic book culture because we are here at First Aid Comics. So, what we are going to do is that we are going to come from the perspective of being right there at the very center, that you are like the purveyor, of the culture as we know it, and just knowing, just I'm just kind of curious. I just want to just crack your head open. Obviously not literally, but kind of like just tell me about your experiences with one, just being in the neighborhood, because sometimes you have whole communities that don't even have an outlet like this. So tell me a little bit about that and how that makes you feel and what you feel that you are, giving to the community that you're in.
Well, First Day Comics has been in Hyde Park. This year it'll be 10 years. Yeah, right? 10 years here in Hyde Park. So I've been here for 9 of those glorious 10 years.
Nice.
And let me tell you, it's huge. We went from being upstairs in this little small area to like 2 floors and being able to have you guys here doing this.
Yes.
Talking about Black Panther, as that's coming out next week. And it's tremendous. It's I finding the words to really like give it that depth, that it's hard because for a long time, even for myself as a child, like I didn't have a comic book store. I didn't have a comic book store to call my own, and I didn't find First Aid until I got out of college and graduated, and I was trying to get back into comics, and just happened to find James, who's the owner, and just fell in love with this place, and I got to be able to work here and just kind of see the trends. And so for a while, Black Panther, when I started working, was it was still just a niche comic. It didn't sell well. It sold. I think when I got into comics with Black Panther, Storm was just getting ready to marry him.
Right.
And the stories told with Storm and Black Panther were cool, but they didn't hit. And I liked them. I loved them. I thought they were great. I mean, they got to be the Fantastic Four. I mean, Black Panther and Storm. Fantastic Four. I mean, that's
big.
That's a big deal, right?
That is.
Fantastic Four is the first family of the Marvel Universe. So the fact that Black Panther and Storm were doing that was a huge deal, but it didn't resonate. And so kind of seeing that happen, and then, but I will say the cool part about that is that was when we got to see Shuri be Black Panther. So Black Panther's sister, we got to be that leader, and just trying to put that out there. Like I'm basically the curator of comics, you know what I'm saying? It's like people come and ask, what's good, and it's like, this is good. Like, read this, check this out, but I can only be a voice to recommend it.
Right.
And so hopefully with Black Panther, with this film, people will see that, okay, Shuri may be Black Panther. Well, come get these comics. You can read about how she was already Black Panther.
Content.
Yes, come cop that content. You can see her be a hero already. I mean, she's going to get to that eventually in the films, but you know what? She's already that in the comic books. And I think there's, when we have customers come in and ask about Black Panther now, it's become a thing.
That's awesome.
Steady stream is great. We had this really huge, oversized Black Panther book that I wanted. Like, it basically like tell us his like history of Black Panther, and we sold through it. And we had a customer come through, was like, "We're not gonna get it. We're not gonna get it tomorrow."
Dang.
Like, it was like, "Well, it's gonna be a couple of days, sir. We gotta like order it. It's probably back ordered because it's such a huge deal."
Like, no, go run and go get it.
Exactly. Like, and that's the thing about being doing a lot of social media stuff. Like, to me, diversity matters.
Yes.
We have every Wednesday, Sam and I, we do a little video on Facebook where we talk about the comic books of the week. And every week, I'm trying to put out a book by a Black artist, Black writer. Like, diversity is first and forefront for me. And so when I talk about those books, not only am I talking about them because they're great artists and writers, the story or the content they put out is good stuff.
Right.
And it needs to be seen.
Agreed.
So it's been a hard road because I think it's taken a long time for us to get here, because when you see a little peek behind the comic book camera curtain, when you go to events where Marvel or DC or all these other like industry guys are telling you stories about like Black folks, and then you meet the writer and they're not Black, it's like, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but I'd like to see someone who looks like me write that book. I mean, I had that problem with Spider-Man, Miles Morales. I mean, Brian Michael Bendis is a tremendous writer, but he's also a white man. I think it's time for that book to have a Black writer, like Black Panther. I mean, when Black Panther came back to prominence, Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Right.
They put him right on that book. That should have been the same thing when Miles Morales became Spider-Man. There should have been a black or a female writer or black female writer on that book telling Miles Morales' story. A black Puerto Rican kid in a gentrified area of New York. That's not a story for a white person. No offense to Brian Michael Bendis, because I'm a huge Bendis fan. Like, I've talked to him online. We've had these just chats, but like, I need that story to be told by somebody who looks like me, who looks like you.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just try to harp on that. It's kind of hard because it's still a market driven by men, white men, and so at times it can be hard saying you should buy the book because it's gonna be awesome, and then it doesn't sell, and it's just like, well, you tried, and I'm still going to try to put that book out there, but you know what? I gotta move on to the next thing, and hopefully that next black artist, that next black writer does something better, and they don't give up. And I think that's something that's important in this market, is like, don't give up, because it can be hard. It can be definitely a struggle to get your art, get your writing out there. But I think that's one thing I think James is really good about. He if you have a story and you bring it to him, he may possibly put it on the shelf. Like, we'll put independent books on the shelf if we think it's worth somebody's time and money. And I think that's important. I think James gives creators that outlet. I mean, that it's important.
Yeah.
It's one of the most important things you can do.
Agree. And it's something that you actually touched on, because you do have outlets like this in a world where printed document is still trying to find its footing, because things are kind of things are a very digital nature, so it seems, and that you have, you have all of these different stories and perspectives that are just simply struggling to find a place on a format that itself is trying to struggle with, in a world where it's just like, hey, look, paper is kind of like, hey, that's so 1990. What are you doing? So I feel that places like this they're like a really good safe space for people who are still trying to get their way in, and also people who still want to kind of be, in a way, still preserve that culture of paper, because printed material is a culture within itself, because we're still trying to find a way to transition into digital, or if we're still trying to find a way where both can kind of coexist. So, and this is also too, just because of the nostalgia that it takes you to when you go into a place like this. Like, when I came here, I was just like, whoa, wait, hold on, because there aren't any more borders, in Barnes and Noble, there are only like maybe like what, 3 or 4, across the whole city, and that they are not as welcoming, given the fact that they are more of a corporate driven entity. So it's like you have places like this that are more communal, and therefore are more reaching and more willing to look for more talent. Right. So places like this are very, very important. Not to mention the fact that people can come here and express a part of themselves that may not necessarily have a space to do at school, at work, on the go. They can come here and be like, hey, I can come here and I can, get a copy of Black Panther and be in fellowship with other people that have the same, or similar taste as I do. Yes. Or that I can come here and get that rare independent comic that I'm not going to get anywhere else. Exactly. So this just does so much.
Open the doors, because Black Panther that should be what gets you in.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't be what just keeps you. There should be other books that keep you, and I think that there are spaces on all parts of our racks, the anime, the manga, Marvel, DC, that tell stories for Black, white, Asian, Latino, gay, straight. Yeah. And it takes a little bit longer because, we're still, as a comic book, we don't advertise. You're not going to see comic book advertisements on television. You just have to come in and talk to us. And
exactly.
We'll find something that just suits you. And once you get that foot's in the door, like, you're gonna keep coming back because you're gonna find something. Like, you definitely are, especially with Black Panther.
Yeah, exactly. And we would like to, again, thank Street Level and First Aid Comics for this wonderful podcast we have had today. I hope you guys enjoyed the thought and the fellowship that was expressed here. So thank you so very much. And bam!